What's up, guys, and welcome back to the show. This is episode 3 of Mommy Cigarette Break. If you've come back for another episode, I love you, I love you, I love you, and we're in for a really good episode today. I have brought so many things with me into recording because at the end of the day, I'm just a girl, and a girl always needs her coffee. Hello, Starbucks. Always need water because stay hydrated. I don't really love to drink water, but they say it helps you with your skin and shit. So, we've got our water here. We've got our claw clip, just in case things get a little hectic. And then we've got our lip gloss because, again, just a girl. And I really can't do dry lips by any means. I think that is like ungodly. So, yeah, we are back for episode 3. And we have a guest coming today, a really good guest, a really good looking guest. So I'm looking forward to that today. But before we do any of that, let's get into our sanity check. This week. Grief is griefing this week, and I'm not gonna lie. And here's why. So, I think if you've listened to 3 episodes by now, you know my husband and I, we lost our son. We lost him at 2 months old. That happened 3 years ago at this point, though. Since then, we have had another child. So, we have 2 girls at home, Sarani, who's 5, Sarai, who's 6 months. And I just love them so much. I was also an only child growing up, so I always knew I was going to give my kids siblings. There was absolutely no way around it. I was going to give my kids siblings because I always felt like being an only child was a super lonely experience. And I've done that. We had some bumps along the way, but I did that. And they have the most beautiful relationship. Even right now, with Sarai being so young, I can see the relationship in the way that her whole world lights up when her sister walks into a room and plays with her, and their bond right now is just, it's really beautiful to watch, and it makes me so happy. And the older Sarai gets and the easier things get, we really started to get into a groove as a family that feels good. Like both girls are in school now, and so Tim and I we're able to work more efficiently so that when the girls come home, we can devote more time to them versus a month ago, both of us were kind of struggling to juggle everything because Sarai was becoming more active and we were kind of doing the thing where you like have a baby on your lap while you're trying to work, and it just gets really hard. We don't have that anymore. So our weekends are super special. Our evenings are super special. It's a lot of family time. And we're just, like I said, getting into a groove as a family. And so actually things are going pretty good. And then there's something in the back of my mind every time we have a good day that's like, man, life is really good, but life would just be perfect if our son was here. And that thought, I don't think is ever going to go away. So on one hand, it's so much gratitude because especially once you've gone through grief, you know what a bad day feels like. You know what a debilitating day is like, one where you can hardly get out the bed and, you really can't look at life with rose tinted glasses because you're just devastated at this loss. You have days like that. You have a lot of days like that where you're like, nothing's ever going to get better because somebody so close to me is now gone. And I really don't know how to overcome that. And it's easy to stay stuck in that. It really is. So I'm grateful that I'm not in that space and that I can recognize a good day and I can recognize when my family is in a really good season because I remember the low seasons. And so I'm really grateful for the space that we're in. And at the same time, grief is grieving in a way that it always will. Because the truth of the matter is that learning to live with grief is like learning to live with a missing piece of a puzzle. And you can get to a place where you're like, wow, this puzzle is beautiful, even though there's this missing piece. But every now and then you're like, but man, I really wish we could have that missing piece of the puzzle because it would even be more beautiful because then it would be like perfect and complete in a way that I just kind of have to accept that I'll never feel because there's just always going to be a constant hole in my heart. But nonetheless, life can still be beautiful and life is beautiful. So, yeah, grief is just one of it's a mixed bag of emotions. And honestly, that's my sanity check for the week. Like I have so much gratitude in my heart for this space that I'm in, the season that I'm in. And there's some heaviness associated with it as well. Yeah, that's it. That's it for the sanity check this week. Let's get into what's in the air. Okay. This is called mommy cigarette break. So we actually don't really invite men in here for nearly any reason. But, you know, for today's episode and for this specific segment, I had to bring in the expert. So tell them who you are.
I'm Dad.
Tell them your name.
Daddy.
Okay. So this is Tim. He happens to be my husband. Yesterday, was it yesterday? The Supreme Court had a ruling that had devastating impacts to the Voting Rights Act, and I thought it just made sense to bring in Mr. Ragland to walk us through what the ruling was, what are the impacts, and really just the what is it? The long, dirty, and short of it. The long and dirty of it. The long and short of why we should care. You get what I'm saying? The long and short. It's like TLDR. ChatGPT will tell me later. Okay, so tell us more about it.
So, several months ago, the Supreme Court heard a case, Louisiana v. Callais. That case was about two things. One, whether the state of Louisiana is required to create a second majority minority district, which would mean a Democrat would represent that particular district in Congress. They already have one Democrat in Congress.
Okay, hold on. So in the entire state of Louisiana, there's currently only one Democrat in Congress.
Yes.
Okay, and that's like a very black state. So we're pretty much the reason that there's only one Democrat in Congress right now is because of the way they're drawing these maps.
Correct.
Okay. And so the underlying case was a question of whether they needed to redraw the maps so that we could get another Democratic seat.
Right.
Okay. And so where did they land on that?
So they decided that Louisiana did not have to create that second majority minority, aka Democratic district. And they came up with some BS about racial gerrymandering.
Okay, so I'm sorry to stop you again. So was the basis for like why we needed this redrawing because racial gerrymandering was at play?
No, it was brought because 2 years ago, the Supreme Court decided in Allen v. Milligan, a case from Alabama, that the state of Alabama needed to create a second majority minority district. And so Alabama now has two black congressional representatives. So LA and Louisiana decided, you know what, I think we can do the same thing here. And
So basically, that's what the Supreme Court did in Alabama, because I remember that at the time, because that was a big deal for you.
for me,
Yeah, that was a big deal in Alabama politics, like in Alabama Democratic
okay.
politics. Like that was no. That was like it was the talk of the town at the time because that was helpful for Democrats in Alabama. So that basically influenced Louisiana to bring the same case, and now we're getting like a polar opposite result.
Right.
Which was you
But
had to create the district in Alabama. Now you don't have to create the district in
right.
Louisiana. Okay.
Um, Louisiana was against creating a second.
Calais was against creating the second district.
No.
The state of Louisiana was against it. All right. So is that the big thing that everybody's talking about right now? The fact that
I mean,
the Supreme Court just made this ruling?
yes, but I think the implications are the bigger story because now we're seeing states like Louisiana, their governor today said that they were going to postpone the I think it's May 16th primary elections so that the state can redraw the maps to eliminate the one Democratic district that's in the state. So, and then a couple hours after the decision, the state of Alabama said that they're going to call a special session of its legislature so that they can redraw their districts and eliminate the two Democratic districts that are in the state of Alabama. And Florida is considering doing the same thing. And so it's
So
just
it's
like when Texas started this whole mess with trying to draw out Democrats, other states are saying, okay, now we're not going to even have any Democratic districts. We're going to go completely Republican.
okay. So let's draw all the way out. Whether or not we have Democratic seats in the state of Texas, in the state of Alabama, Florida, across the South, I bet a lot of people are going to be thinking it's a Republican state, anyways. So why should I care?
Because even in a Republican state, everybody is not a Republican, and there should be. We're in a representative democracy, so everybody's interests should be represented. Black folks, for the most part, are Democrats,
Yeah.
and so
Okay. And I think, too, though, another angle is like, I don't actually know what our Congress person, like whether we have a Democratic congressman that's here, like I don't know how he is impacting the day to day for us in Dallas, Texas. The problem is that of the 430,
uh,
of the 435, we're now going to have significantly less
right,
Democrats in office now because what they're doing here, messing with each of these districts, is going to significantly slash that number.
right,
So, like,
yeah.
when Trump is trying to get a bill passed, for example, it will be much easier because of the little things that they're doing within each district. I think sometimes people need to know that because
Yeah,
it's
it's
like, why do I care?
like the war in Iran. Like Republicans are in charge of Congress. There's not really much oversight. Trump is saying like we're doing it for X, Y, Z reason, but we really don't know because Congress is not doing its job of overseeing the executive branch, aka President Trump.
And so that's a good point. It's like a lot of times presidents will be doing things and we're like, why won't Congress act? Why won't Congress move? Well, when they do things like this redistricting to make sure that like there are no Democrats and our voices aren't represented, Congress isn't moving because Congress is made up of all the same players essentially. And that might be like an oversimplification because it's not like all Democrats everywhere are gonna leave, but this has a lot of implications on the South specifically, I would think.
I mean, the whole country really.
Well, all Republican
Like
states, I guess.
even the non-Republican ones, because like think about Congress, the House is where all the budget bills have to originate. So when you're talking about taxes, you're talking about anything dealing with money, it starts in the House.
Yeah.
So our tax rates will be set there. I mean, it's everything at the federal level comes to Congress.
Yeah. And at this point, there's nothing we can do at this point because the ruling is what it is. What does that mean for people when they show up to vote?
I mean, honestly, it means your vote. If you're not voting Republican in these areas where the redistricting has happened, your vote is diluted. It's much less effective than it would be if this hadn't happened.
And it's because they're drawing the map. They're drawing the map in a way that there are more Republicans in the area.
Right.
So it's almost so is there any point of us still showing up?
But it still matters to show up. We just gonna have to work a whole lot harder to get people out to vote because there's enough Democratic votes that don't show up where you can make these races competitive. But they're making it. I mean, they're definitely stacking the deck in their favor. But even if all the states that can make all their Congress people Democratic, we still would have a slight Republican majority. So
Got it. Okay. I think that we'll put a pin in it there for now, but that is really important. And I'm glad that you were able to speak on it because I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to see the big picture of like, okay, I get that that's bad, but like, how does this impact my day to day?
yeah.
And so, yeah, thank you for explaining that. All right. Now let's get into what's on the air. Guys, we're not going to talk about Housewives this week because I have so much to say about Housewives, and people keep reminding me that they don't all watch Housewives like that. So I'm going to do a special episode on Housewives for the Housewives lovers. On the air, we went to see the Michael Jackson movie last night, and I'll be honest, I'm not a Michael Jackson fan like that. Like, my friends were telling me about the movie. Are you making a face? My friends were telling me about the movie, and I was just like, guys, I'm not that into Michael Jackson. No shade, like, don't stone me, but I just didn't grow up listening to Michael Jackson like that. Like, I know ABC or whatever. So I was like, I mean, I'll go see the little movie. It's cool or whatever. But the movie was so good. And I have been moonwalking through the house ever since. I was listening to Michael Jackson at my desk. Like, he's an icon. What did you think about the movie?
Oh, I loved it. I'm a Michael Jackson fan.
I've never heard you listen to Michael Jackson, though. That's crazy.
I watched it. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job selecting the movies. The casting was crazy.
It was good.
Like his nephew looked just like it's his nephew, but like he looked like he could be his son.
He did.
He had the voice down, like the singing voice and the talking voice.
Can his nephew actually sing, or was that
I
like?
think he can.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he should just
I think he can, but
take that up and run with it.
even the girl that was in the Thriller video,
Mm-hmm.
she looked just like the one in the original, and I think that was actually her mom. So,
Oh, that's
like,
crazy.
shout out to Black Nepotism. Like, yeah, they did a phenomenal job.
I want to talk about Joe.
Who?
Joe.
Okay.
Because let me tell you right now, I would have been called Joe No Mo. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, they should have dig Joe up and kick him back. Joe was man.
It wouldn't have been no Jackson 5. Joe was insane. And I don't know. Mama was doing too much smiling, in my opinion. Joe did too much. Had Joe not done all of that, would the Jackson 5 have been like what they were? And like, would Michael Jackson be a household name? Probably yes for Michael Jackson. Yeah, but probably not for the son. So it's like, to what degree do you sacrifice your kid for the greater good of society, right? Because I feel like they made music and culture better. So would you sacrifice your kid for the greater good like that? If Serrani could be like a star.
To the extent that Joe did, like I get that you got to have work it and work it.
And what I mean is, like, would you take away her childhood to like push her to fame or whatever? Because I agree with you. We're like, yeah, like if she wants to act or if she wants to sing, like we will support her in that way. But like, not for me, I'm like, not at the expense of her childhood.
Yeah, like if that's your purpose, if that's what God put you here for, it has to happen.
Yeah,
like, it's going to happen.
that's a good point. All that they did and like the fact that they took his childhood away from him, that shit had him talking to animals. And that's how we got Bubbles. I was speechless when Bubbles came on that screen. I didn't know about Bubbles. That damn monkey got out the car. I was just like, what? And what's so funny is that my friends were like, Chelsea, like, let me know when you get to Bubbles. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking Bubbles is like a friend. And the way they kept doing it in the movie is like they wouldn't show who he was talking to. So I kept being like, oh, okay, he got a friend. And it was another damn animal every time.
I can understand, like, Michael Jackson been singing since he was 4. He didn't really have, like, friends. He didn't go to school. Like, he was with his brothers all the time.
That's true.
So
That's true. Okay. Well, anywho, the movie was really good. I think y'all should go watch it. The show of the week right now, though, is Rhode Island episode 5. Please watch it. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Let's get into before I go back in. Before I go back in, we are getting into part 1 of our Dare to Dream series. And Tim is here, and I thought that he would be the perfect person for this part 1 because the topic today is driven by purpose and not a paycheck. A reminder, we are talking about going after our dreams. And I know it's like, what are the dreams you're talking about? Like, what is the dream? What is it? What is this thing that we're going after? And it's going to be different for everybody, right? Because certainly what we're not saying is that everybody should go start a business or everybody should be an influencer or everybody should quit their jobs. But nobody should quit their job, not because I told you to, but when I started to like really think about what my ideal life looked like, I was a little bit scared of what I came up with. It didn't seem like something that was attainable. And when I just like started writing those things down, I was like, okay, I know what the vision is. I have no idea how I go after that. And as I'm getting closer to 30, as I'm getting closer to 30, I feel like I just got a little bit more kahunas. Like I got a little bit more balls right now. And I'm just like, you know what? I may not have the entire thing figured out, but I've started taking the first steps. So that's what this series is about. It's honestly about putting that dream down that's been in your head, whether it's like, oh, I want to write the book, I want to start the blog, right? I want to run for president. Whatever that thing is, it's time to write it on paper. Even if you're not ready to say it out loud, sometimes we're not ready to say it out loud. Because I told somebody one of my dreams yesterday and they like laughed at me. And it's like, it's kind of those dreams where it's like, it's so big. What's that verse? That verse that Kanye said, you get uncomfortable telling small minded people. Like, it's such a big dream that a lot of people around you may not even understand it or may not even have the capacity to envision it, but it's your dream and it came from a certain place, and that's the one that I want you to write down during this series, and we are going to take steps together to go towards that life. And that is why I thought Tim would be the perfect person for this segment, because backstory, when I met Tim, he was like, listen, I am currently running for mayor. I would like to be president one day. I want to be in ministry. What else? I want to be CEO of a nonprofit. I want to be a college president. Anything I'm missing?
I wanted them to know that.
It's the truth. I mean, you're here. I think you want to write a book. That's what you told me. Like it was, and I was just like, okay, this man is crazy. Like this is a lot. And what shook me about you was that, like, one, you had these very bold dreams. Two, you were comfortable enough to say it out loud. So that's my first question for you. Like, what gave you the confidence to say that out loud? That takes a lot, in my opinion, to be like, to tell somebody these dreams that you have in your head. What gave you the confidence to be able to do that?
God, like faith in God that if He gave me a dream, He gave me a goal, He gave me a vision, that He would bring it to pass. Like He would make it happen. Um, like there were times when I was running for mayor, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work out. I don't know how I'm gonna pay for that. I don't know, because I was in law school at the time, and I was like, you gave me this desire, this passion, so you need to work it out. It's on you. Like, I ain't even gonna try. Like it's on you.
And you just said a mouthful there too, because you're like, okay, you took it out of just like you. It wasn't like, okay, I, as Tim, I'm just dreaming about this thing. You're like, God gave me this vision. That's how you viewed your dreams.
Mhm.
And I think that's interesting because as we talk about like purpose, like driven by purpose and not a paycheck, it's like, well, how do I know that I'm aligned with God's will for my life? Or how do I know that I am in my purpose? And I think that's something to consider, that sometimes this vision that you have, you didn't just come up with that in the middle of your sleep. Like God planted that seed in you.
Yeah.
And then you walked into it. And I feel like, to your point, because you answered the call, like things that you were worried about, they just fell into place.
You take the step and the staircase will appear.
Yeah.
And that's literally what everything, like my whole life, everything I've done, like I've just like, okay, we're gonna do it. And the staircase appeared. Like I think something that we don't talk about enough is just having the audacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like having the nerve to try it.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. but I'm gonna try and we gonna see.
And I'm really learning that is the biggest difference. Like between the people who died with dreams in their head that never came into fruition and people who like changed their lives in the most magnificent way. We all dream. Like I think we all have like visions of like, man, it would be really cool if I started that business, or it would be really cool if I started that mentorship program or whatever it is. And then some of us just fuck around and just do it.
Yeah.
Like I really think that's the only difference. It's not like God spoke to Tim in this way and he's not speaking to every single one of us in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some of us don't have the audacity to take that next step. That is such a good point. Okay.
Fortune favors the bold.
Yeah.
If you're bold enough to try, I feel like God will meet you at that point. Like he's waiting for you to take that first step toward whatever the dream, the goal, the vision, whatever it is. You take that first step, God will meet you and take you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
That's my story.
When I said, like, you've had these bold dreams, which honestly I considered crazy. Did that ever, what this is more so for next episode, because next episode we're going to talk about the haters and the doubters and the people who laugh at the things that you say out loud. But since you probably won't be here next episode, I do want to know your thoughts. Like, no, you might not be on the couch. Y'all have to tell me if y'all want him back on the couch for next episode. But you said these things out loud. You knew that they were God-given dreams. So did it even matter when people laughed or told you don't do it or discouraged you in any way?
At the time that I went from one point where I was thinking about it to a point where I was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
You're talking about running for mayor.
For running for mayor. Yeah.
Okay.
At the point I was thinking about it, yes. And I actually let people talk me out of doing it 4 years before I did it. Like, he was like, oh, you sure you want to do it? Like, you think you can? So I let that get in my head and I talked myself out of it. But at the point that I actually did it and people was like, oh, well, if you don't win this time, like, you make a good partner start this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to win this time. But yeah, okay, thanks.
I know that's right.
Yeah. So like at the point that I committed to doing it, then no, the naysayers like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
You'll see.
And like I said, I met you. You had these what I would consider crazy dreams, but like let's talk about all of them now. You were running for mayor. You won that. Okay. You said you want to be you wanted to be president. I check in with you every now and then about that because I'm like, dear God, I'm gonna have to clean up my social media. Lord, they ain't never seen a first lady like me. So listen, so you don't even have to give me an answer on that one right now because it'll make me nervous. Okay, you said you wanted to be in ministry. You're currently finishing up your master's at Emory, so you are well on your way to doing that. You said you wanted to be a CEO of a nonprofit, and right now your policy of chief governmental affairs. What is it? Policy and governmental affairs.
Chief policy and governmental affairs.
Okay, so you're in the C-suite of a nonprofit. You said you wanted to be a college professor, and you are already an adjunct professor. You said you wanted college president. Sorry, you said you wanted to be a college president. You're already an adjunct professor, and you said you wanted to write a book, and you're writing a book. Okay, like I just think you're such a good example of just like take the first step, dare to dream, take the first step, and like fear be damned, honestly. Yeah. Because
you figured out on the way, like, I don't know how to. You'll figure it out. Like you'll figure it out. You will. Yeah. You'll figure it out. Like I didn't know how to be mayor. I definitely didn't know how to deal with like COVID and all the other stuff that came with it. Like you figured out along the way. Yeah.
And I would say the difference between our two paths is that you always stayed in the pocket of your passion and your purpose in everything that you did. You did not do what I did for the start of my career, which was solely chase a paycheck. In fact, a lot of the things that we just discussed, like you want a career in politics, it takes a while for that to make money. Like Mary didn't make no money. It didn't make no money. It lost us money. What else? Ministry can make money, but
Joel Osteen.
yeah, but a lot of times it doesn't make money. And I remember when we talked a lot about money because I was just like, where's the money gonna be? Where's the money gonna be? You and I shaped my dreams around the paycheck, and you didn't. You shaped your dreams around the purpose. And one of the things, one of the distinct differences between our paths is like, yes, money came quicker for me because I was chasing a paycheck, but I was spiraling and often unhappy and overworked in a way that you never were. Like the journey was a bit slower, but while I was like stressed and unhappy and like I need to rethink my life, you were elevating the entire time. And I do think there's something to be said about like you staying in the pocket of your passion. You're good at your job. And can't nobody do what you do because you're using your God-given talents and your God-given purpose and it's just you're elevating because of it. And so can you kind of talk about that? Like, why did you go purpose over paycheck? And then, like, were you concerned about the paycheck or did you just kind of know it was going to come?
I'll answer the last one first. I knew it would come at some point. It's just, I knew I didn't really have any evidence or anything to point to, but I knew that it would come eventually. The reason I went passion over paycheck is because, like, what I do, I would do it all for free.
Yeah.
I enjoy the work I do, my 9 to 5. I enjoy the ministry work. I enjoy politics. Like, I like it. I love it. Since I was, I don't know, old enough to, like, second grade, I think.
I don't want to stop you, but I do feel like some of us need to hear that because, like, and it is so true. Like, you genuinely love what it is that you do every day, and you would do it for free. And I feel like when you find something that you love so much that you would do for free, it's almost like the money has to come because you are so good at it. Like it is second nature to you. Like you're going to be the best of the best at whatever that field is because you love it in a way that others around you just might not.
Like my first job in politics, it was like $36,000 a year. Um, and I was like shocked that they were going to pay me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, y'all going to pay me to talk about politics for real?
You
like,
such a nerd.
I would, what? You going to pay me? They could have paid me $1,000 a month.
And you would have done it anyway.
And I would have done it.
Yeah.
I would have done it. Was so much fun and it was so formative to my career. Like they could have just gave me food and I would have did it.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Real. Like I enjoyed it that much.
Okay, so do you feel like the paycheck came? Like did it come later?
I got a little piece of change.
It did come, y'all.
I got a little something.
It did.
Got a little something.
It did.
And I really think it's gonna be even greater. It's gonna be greater later. That's my preacher. It's gonna be greater later.
And I wonder too if it's like the vision that God gave you. Do you think it almost always aligns with something that you love? Like
I think so.
Yeah.
It has to, right?
Because I don't think God would give me a vision to go teach kids math.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Please no.
There's a theologian, and I forget his first name, his last name. And he said, "Your purpose lies where your passion and the world's great need meet."
Mm-hmm.
So, what you're passionate about and what the world needs, that intersection is where your purpose is.
Yeah,
and that's definitely true for me. I think that's true for you too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forget who else said it, but there's like your passion is one, what pisses you off, and what can you not live without? Like, what could you not live without doing?
Yeah.
And
talking.
Yeah. So see, 2 checks.
So I feel like that's a good point. Like, guys, like, okay, so you've written down your goal. Look at your goal now and look at the goal that you've written down. Like, is this something you're passionate about? Anything that I have done solely for purposes of getting money, I have failed at personally. So I feel like that's a good like gut check. Like, one, am I passionate about this? Two, is there a need? That just makes good sense. I think of it like, how am I going to impact lives? How am I going to, impact others? Because if I'm not doing that in some way, for me, it's like if I don't have some level of like connection to people, it's hard for me to care.
Yeah.
But the thing that keeps me up at night sometimes, and you would think that it's the haters. And like I said, guys, so the preview for next week is we're going to talk about quieting the noise, handling the haters. But you would think like the naysayers keep me up at night. No, that doesn't keep me up at night. I like to know with some level of certainty that I am aligned with God's will for my life. Because like everybody else could think that I'm losing my mind and going crazy. I never want to be out of alignment with what God has for me. So we talked about it a little bit, but before we go, can you touch on it just one more time? Like, how can I know with some level of certainty that I'm aligned with His will in whatever this dream of mine might be?
There's a scripture, 1 Peter 4:10. I'm gonna read it so I don't mess it up. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another. And for me, that's how I know if I'm in the lane that God wants me in. It should not be whatever I'm doing is not to benefit myself, it's to benefit other people, humanity, Black folks, like somebody outside of me. There may be some benefit to me, but the primary purpose should be benefiting somebody else.
That's so good. I think that just about covers it for this one. Okay, I am so grateful that you came upstairs. You know I don't allow you in my podcast room for almost any reason, right? Yeah. You know we don't really let men in here on the couch. We don't know if this is
that for your little friend.
we don't know if this is the porch or the couch. It might be the porch couch. Do you have thoughts? Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in for this third episode. We are excited to continue. Oh, I'm excited. I'm acting like this is me. I'm excited to continue the Dare to Dream series. Next week, we're going to be talking about quieting the noise, handling the haters. Don't forget to send me your dream check-ins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate this podcast, share this podcast, follow me on Instagram at Chelsea Ragland, follow me on TikTok at _Chelsea Ragland, follow me on YouTube at Mommy Cigarette Break. Do all the things, just all the things. We appreciate those of you that already have, and I will see you next time. Bye.